The internet is attacking us, ladies and gentlemen. We are having a few little difficulties getting things started tonight. Sometimes computers play well with us, sometimes they don't. But we are working very hard to try to get Michelle Orleans, Mrs. North Carolina International, ready for tonight's PageantCast. So please hang tight. As soon as we get that connection, we're going to be going live here on the PageantCast. In the meantime, the chat room is open. You can go ahead and use the chat room, say hi, and let us know that you're there. We are working on establishing the contact. So I am going to go back to the pre-show loop until we get this going. Don't worry, we're working very hard to get this to work tonight. The joy of live broadcasting. We're still working on that connection, downloading all sorts of programs to try to get this to work for all of you tonight. So why don't we all play a game? Why don't you introduce yourselves in the chat room while we get this set up? Really sorry about this, but sometimes this sort of thing happens. I can tell you, we've been working on this for a half hour. So we really want to make this work out for all of you that tuned in tonight. So that'll be happening very soon, we hope. So continue to hang in there. It's going to be worth it.
who was left behind, gave me a chance to tell his story and to say, look, your husband wants you and your boys to know that they're at risk for heart disease.
Hold
You have
on,
to tell their
Michelle.
pediatrician.
Michelle, we just got word that we had no sound. We had no sound. So we're going to start things over. I am sorry, everybody. I am so sorry. We're going to start things over. Don't worry, you won't miss a thing. Oh, everything tonight.
Well, hey, but does the hair look good, right?
The hair looks awesome.
Okay.
It's really a vision. So okay, we're gonna start that again. Thanks for saying something, Mr. Tidwell. We appreciate that. We got a word from Montgomery, Texas, told us that we were without sound. So we'll get things started again. Okay, let's see. Gotta restart that, and here we go. TKPN.
Welcome to the PageantCast, your home for beauty pageant news and interviews on the internet.
Okay, we're back again to try this again. Hopefully you do have sound. That's good. Thank you, Montgomery, Texas, for letting us know that. We are going to go live again here in 3, 2... You're watching the PageantCast. I'm your host, Tim Kretschmann. So pleased that you could join us from Muskego, Wisconsin. And we are very happy tonight to be speaking to Michelle Aurelius, Mrs. North Carolina International. Am I saying your name right? Am I getting that right?
Kind of close.
I'm close.
It's
okay.
Aurelius. Kind of rhymes with supercilious. So kind of close. But think of the whole Marcus Aurelius thing. We're one of his people. So.
Okay, got it. I'm probably still gonna mess things up. This is kind of what I do.
No, I'm sure I messed the Skype up, and I'm sure somehow I messed the sound up. So I'm not quite really sure. But for those of you who are tuning in now, I said some very eloquent, important, and earth-shattering things that would change your life. It was very eloquent and well done.
And totally
was a phenomenal interviewer. I was in tears.
Yeah. Well, we've been having our technical issues tonight. So let me start by asking you how you got started in pageants, Michelle.
Well, I got started in pageants in my, shall we say, older years. Maybe it's considered senior years for pageantry. But when I was 35, I was diagnosed with heart disease. And at such a relatively young age, it was pretty earth-shattering for me. And so I really had to stop and look around and say, what kind of things am I doing in my life? At the time, I was a physician. I had just was in my last year of training to be a forensic pathologist, and I was single and I didn't have a family. So, of course, I found my husband online that year, or started looking for him that year. Ended up getting married and having a child. But I also started working a lot with American Heart Association. As a patient and a physician, being diagnosed with heart disease is I really felt helpless for a long period of time. So being able to work with the American Heart Association, I found, looking around at all those events, as a heart disease survivor and a physician, yes, some people want to talk to me, but there was a huge amount of volume of people who were coming to talk to the gorgeous looking gal in the tiara, who also was sharing the same message. So I realized, hey, I could use a little bit of glamour in my life, and this is also a perfect way for me to talk about heart disease and how it's important to me. So it's been a great relationship since then. I've been working with American Heart Association for over 10 years and found the North Carolina International Pageants that are here in North Carolina. Our pageant's going to be April 7th, 2018 in Winterville, North Carolina. So that's a little closer to the east side, closer to the coast, and a great opportunity for any married women in North Carolina who are excited and want a voice for their platform or something they're passionate about.
So you're a doctor, so that means you're extremely intelligent. You're obviously beautiful. So what is the difference by having a tiara that people want to talk to? I mean, your beautiful people are going to want to come up to and talk to you. What is the difference?
For me, it's accessibility. So sometimes having the white coat on and having the stethoscope, or discussing with a family or testifying in court, I really don't seem very personable, I think. And this way, having a tiara and handing out stickers or autograph cards really opens the door to a large population of people who may not be otherwise comfortable walking up to a stranger and saying, hey, why are you standing here and volunteering at the Heart Walk and the Survivor booth? But I get asked that question constantly if I'm wearing a tiara, and that gives me an opportunity to talk about heart disease and risk factors and what is the face of heart disease. This is the face of heart disease, and there are children who have heart disease, and working with the American Heart Association against our number one killer solves world hunger, it promotes world peace, but it really is important as a physician and as a heart disease survivor.
Now, you said you're a forensic pathologist, so that means you could be on CSI, right? So when I watch,
be if my heels were higher, but until that happens, I think I'm just going to have to wait.
Okay, because when I watch CSI Miami, the first couple of seasons, the coroner seemed to talk to the corpses quite a bit. Does that happen, or is that just TV craziness there?
That is a lot of TV craziness, and
Okay.
I don't wear 6-inch heels to scenes. I actually don't have a gun, and I don't put handcuffs on criminals. But I do have a chance to see my patient population and try to tell their stories the best that I can, because the ultimate way in prevention and keeping us safe, whether it's heart disease or keeping criminals off the streets from harming other people, is by performing the type of examination that I do to determine cause and manner of death.
So you started pageants later on. You're kind of a studious type of person because you're a doctor, so you had to study, I'm sure, to get yourself up to speed in pageants. How did you prepare for pageants? Were there websites, magazines, periodicals? What sort of things did you do to get ready? That's perfect.
So, yes, I'm a preparer. I search, and of course, I was on PageantCast.com, because they have all the information that I need when it comes to the different systems. It's very confusing to someone like me who has not grown up in pageantry to know what kind of pageant system I wanted to be a part of. And it's the international system, because it's about family, it's about emphasizing the achievement of married women and coming together as an ultimate family and network to support each other.
Well, I have to say,
Is that okay?
one of the things we always were looking to do here on this show, because some shows are just about one pageant system or just miss pageants or that sort of thing. We wanted to always have a wide swath so that people could find a pageant that they like, because I liken it to the iPhone commercials. There's an app for that. There's a pageant for that. There's pageants for all sorts of different things, depending on what you want to do. Particularly with heart disease, I can't think of a pageant that's a more perfect fit for you. Now, I believe, what was it, last month that you competed at the international pageants? Do I have my timing about right?
Just a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I'm still alive, and I had a fantastic time. It's a great and wonderful opportunity to meet women from all over the United States. And I was so blown away by how accomplished all of these women are and how passionate they are about their platforms. So it was a great opportunity that I would not otherwise have been able to experience unless I was your Mrs. North Carolina International. So it was wonderful.
What's your favorite phase of competition? What do you look forward to?
I really look forward to the friendships, because I realize that there is only one person who's going to walk away with the bigger crown. I already have a crown as your Mrs. North Carolina, so I got to walk away with that. But the biggest part of the competition for me is what I can take away with myself forever. And that's the friendships and the networking, and also getting to know what the other platforms are and realizing we're there to support each other. And I know you wanted me to say something like, oh, fitness or interview. But for me, it's the whole experience, and it's not just the competition itself. Did I weasel out of that one?
Honestly, I'll tell you something. I've done over 1,000 of these interviews now. I'm kind of glad when it isn't one of those.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I like a little creativity once in a while. If I have to hear one more time about I was a tomboy growing up, I want to take off the baby weight. You know, there's a few things that have come up in the over 350 times realm that I'm kind of like, yeah, it's okay to have something a little bit different. So thank you for a unique answer to that. Not that there's anything wrong with those other answers. Don't start writing me about that. It's just you hear those very often, and they're a theme. Now, the theme that I'm hearing from you is platform, 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 and then a little bit more on platform. So... Uh-oh, what's going on? Oh, heart.org. Well, actually, I should take my face down. There, now we can see it. Heart.org. Now, that's where people can check out all about heart disease?
Yes, and they can learn a lot more through the American Heart Association. One of the big things I like to emphasize is that 80% of heart disease and stroke are ultimately preventable. So we need to look at our specific risk factors, and this gives you a great place to start to look at what your numbers are and what your risk factors might be. So taking a look at heart.org can help you with that to assess your potential risk factors so that you can work with your doctor. My husband's over here watching, and he's very handsome, so it's very distracting. But he knows that I'm doing my usual plugs. Here, you want another plug? Are you ready for this?
I'm just happy that you came with your own visual aids. That's good.
Are you ready for another one?
Yeah, let's see it.
This is a total nerd thing. I'm sorry, I can't help it. Here's the other one, myresearchlegacy.org. This is a great place for anyone, you don't have to be a physician or a heart disease survivor, to help with research, because this takes your personal information, it depersonalizes it, so you have your information is protected, and you can give your information to a national and hopefully eventually international network of database so that we can help identify other risk factors and help people stay healthy and prevent heart disease. It takes about 15 minutes. It's online. You can do it from your couch or from work if you have a break. And you have an opportunity to also be involved with specific research projects depending upon some of your answers. So I hope you will consider checking out myresearchlegacy.org as a part of the American Heart Association.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. Wow. We didn't get to do enough prep before the show. I should have had the show and tell icon come on at that point. Here, we'll just put it on now. There we go. Show and tell. There we go. Now everybody feels better. There, it's official. Okay, fantastic.
Oh, did you want me to show and tell my real show and tell?
Oh, yeah, let's do it. Well, hold on. Let's hit it again. Here it comes. Woohoo! It's time for show and tell. Let's see, Michelle, what have you got there?
All right, so what I have for you are some of the ornaments that I created for the Mrs. International contestants. So I am not only a nerd doctor, forensic pathologist, and not exactly what the pageant community expects, but I'm also, I guess you could say, a sculptor. So I like to make ornaments, different shapes, different sizes, predominantly the heart, because heart disease survivor, American Heart Association, it spreads the word. And I love working with my hands and pounding out all my frustrations in these little guys.
Now, what is it, stainless steel?
This is aluminum.
Okay.
And I actually did something different with these because I had to I made about 100 because I was afraid I'd have to toss out a couple of them, which I did. But
oh my God. Okay.
These are actually cast in aluminum. This was my first time making the molds I did the sculptures out of clay, And then I made a rubber mold out of that. And then I used the lost wax casting method and made wax from it, and then sent that to the foundry, and they made it into the aluminum. And then I buffed them and made them look nice and shiny.
See, my only fear is that looks pretty substantial, and if you get the Charlie Brown tree, I'm afraid it would just knock the tree right over.
Oh, come on. Aluminum's really light. And they may not be those, what do you call those stars that you throw? But you never know. You have some competition that you're trying to get rid of at the pageants. These could be weapons, too.
That would be good for when you become a superhero. Because this is starting to sound... Let's break this down. Doctor by day, pageant competitor by night, walks around with metallic hearts that can stop them as well as keep them going. It's starting. All you need is a cape. All we need is the cape yet, and you got a curtain type thing going behind you. So I think you're like ready to go. It's very nice. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Well, as long as I get some sort of slogan, right? Well, follow you heart.
Yeah. That would be the obvious one, right?
With her heart. How does that sound?
Right. I think you would have to wear red, though, right?
Of course.
That would be the key thing.
It's a color that works for me, so I think I could handle it.
Perfect. Hey, what we're going to do, we're going to take a break here, and we're going to get the chat room going to get us some questions, because we have a whole lot of people that just aren't chatting right now. So what we're going to do is what we call a soft break. So what I want you to do is give me your best pageant wave. I need to see the best pageant wave that you can come up with, and you show it to us right now. Let's see it.
So I grew up in the 80s, and this is the Pac-Man.
Oh my goodness.
Hair, but this is the Pac-Man.
Oh,
can you feel it? Are you okay?
That reminds me more of Clyde or Inky, Binky, or Blot. What were they? Inky, Pinky, and Blinky, right? And then Clyde.
I think that's right.
Okay. Good. I'm glad I still have it. All right. So we're going to thank you so much. And why don't we say it together? Let's say Tierra Dreams. Tierra Dreams, everybody.
Tierra Dreams.
Don't worry, everybody. We're coming right back here. We're coming right back. And we are going to do another segment here. Now, Michelle, you need to talk to your chat room, because there are almost a dozen people there on YouTube. Lord knows how many on Facebook right now. And only our good friend from Montgomery, Texas is participating in the chat room. In the next section of the interview, we're going to be taking questions from the chat room. So if you have questions for Michelle, tell them you want questions, don't you?
I want questions, but I prefer multiple choice, given all the education I've had to go through. That'd be really nice. That's possible. Who needs short answer or long answer?
No, we're looking for essay. Now, if I don't get enough questions, I'm going to torture Michelle. It's something that I like to do called the Fantastic Favorite 5. Nobody wants to see that. So let's get those questions going, and we're going to get started with the next section in just a moment. All right, and we're going to show you this just so that I can take a drink of water. So hold on a second. It's here! Now the PageantCast has an app for your Android phone. The longest running podcast on beauty pageants on the internet is now available in app form in the Google Play Store. It includes quick connections to PageantCast on Facebook, Twitter, and our massive YouTube channel. Not to mention our great website. Listen and watch our content on your phone anywhere. Downloading Google Play Store today for free! Okay, we're going to be starting in 3, 2. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the PageantCast. And okay, here we go. I'm going to give it a try. And the other side of the Skype line, we have Michelle Aurelius, Mrs. North Carolina International. Was I closer?
A little bit closer. Very nice.
Bit closer. Oh.
I really appreciate the effort. It's lovely.
I usually try this out a lot more beforehand. We didn't have our 30 minutes, but oh well.
Yeah, I pretty much stressed you out. I'm very sorry.
It's okay. It's perfectly fine. Okay, folks. It is time for us to go to the chat room, get some questions from the chat room, everybody. Oh, look at that. A little keyboard flying in. Let's take a look at that chat room. Not a whole lot of activity yet because I think we got a shy chat room. But we do have one question ready for us right now. And Jim would like to know, how many Dr. Peppers can I safely down in one day and stay alive? Doctor?
Well, since my expertise is not about what you can do to stay alive necessarily, but what may kill you, I can tell you that I have never seen someone die of a Dr. Pepper overdose by itself. Although caffeine is a drug and it can stimulate your heart and cause cardiac arrhythmias, and it can have a high sugar content if you're not doing the diet Dr. Pepper type. So think about what you're drinking, the calories, the sugar, and your potential for leading to risk factors for heart disease.
Okay. And the same question, just asking how many cans of bleach you can safely drink in one day.
I would suggest not drinking any cans of bleach at all.
Okay. Well, I was trying to whiten my teeth.
Well, certainly whitening your teeth with the products over the counter are the good way to go. You probably won't have bad breath, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it.
I'm so glad to hear that. I don't know. I'm trying to get more questions here. Okay, well, and by the way, it looks like you have some fans of the Pac-Man wave. For folks that are watching this later, you'll want to check our first episode of the series to see more of that. Well, okay, while we're waiting for more questions to arrive.
Oh, now you're going to hurt me with your question.
It's coming.
Now, if you
it's
guys
the fantastic favorite 5! I know you're worried.
It's trouble.
I know you're worried.
Buckets.
Do you know about the Fantastic 5? Favorite 5?
Just enough to instill fear in my heart.
It should.
All of those guys out there who aren't asking the questions, this is the result. Sorry.
Yeah, this is what's going to happen now.
Yes.
The rules of the game, I will win. That's the number one rule. Prepare yourself for a stinging defeat. I am going to ask you about your favorite things 5 times. When you tell me what your favorite thing is, I'm going to come up with a trivia question about it. And I alone will judge if the answer is good enough. And I may not, in fact, know the answer myself. Also,
biased,
there's a lot of rules, and I've never done this to a doctor before. It's going to be great beating a doctor. This is going to be a lot of fun. I also pick these genres of things to ask you about on things that I know lots of. So I cheat every possible way. This is really well thought out. Not really. Okay, so let's start with your favorite theme park or theme park ride.
I would probably have to go with the New York roller coaster ride at Las Vegas. I didn't throw up, but I had a really, really fabulous time, and it was close. So that means it's good.
That is one of the roughest damn roller coasters I have ever been on. It's horrible. I don't know why they don't close that thing. It's probably a safety problem at this point.
It's awesome, and you're just a little weak. So next time, suck it up. You can do it.
Okay, they did change the name of that particular ride. Do you know the new name?
No.
It's called Roller Coaster now. That's how lame it is. It seriously is. It's terrible, terrible thing that they did to this thing. Okay, what's your favorite movie genre?
I would say action adventure.
Action adventure. Okay, name the only James Bond movie that was not made by Cubby Broccoli and Eon Productions.
That's going to be difficult. Let's just go with Goldfinger, even though I know it's wrong.
Well, you picked the right James Bond. It was Sean Connery, but it was Never Say Never Again with a remake of Thunderball, which a lot of people don't know, and that's because there was a harangue over the rights to Spectre, which was created in Thunderball, and that's why those rights were kind of running around. And I believe Cubby Broccoli's group, Barbara Broccoli, I think, is in charge now, did regain control. It is sickening that I know this sort of stuff off the top of my head.
It is very
just
impressive.
wait, just wait.
Who is your favorite James Bond? I think that tells a lot about a person.
I have people die when I tell them this. Timothy Dalton and George Lazenby. Those are my two favorite.
You're in trouble.
I love Timothy Dalton. I think License to Kill and Living Daylights are excellent. My favorite James Bond movie, though, would have to be The Spy Who Loved Me, which I think is Roger Moore's best effort.
It is. It is. Yeah. Sean Connery's better, though.
Sean Connery in total is better. He did have some stinkers of movies. Thunderball, I do not think is a good movie. I really have an issue with that flick. I could go on for hours, but actually the current guy is my least favorite.
But he's something new and different and slightly dark.
And that's why I don't like him. I'm a traditionalist. Okay, let's go to favorite horror movie. This will be good.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street, a popular choice among pageant participants. Very interesting. I always find it interesting because I'm not sure, have you seen the movie or you just know about it?
If I can do the Pac-Man wave, that means that I lived in the 80s and I certainly saw the movie.
Okay, so give me the name of the actress that was the star of the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
I don't know, but I do remember the shock of the white skunk hair after she survived.
That's
I'm
right.
not luck. Can I go with Sarah? That was a common name in the 80s.
Heather Langenkamp is the name of the actress. Heather is a 80s name. Okay, just for fun, what major star came out of Nightmare on Elm Street?
Johnny Depp?
Johnny Depp, correct. He gets killed in bed, right? Oh, spoiler alert.
He does, but he comes back a little bit. That end scene in the car, that was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, it had a beat. You can dance to it. It was wonderful. All right, let's go to favorite TV show. What's your favorite TV show?
I'm going to go with the Great British Baking Show.
The Great British... You know what? I'm going to give you
You haven't seen it? What's wrong?
I have not watched that. That is not one of mine.
You're expert in everything.
Okay, at what point in the show does a gun get brandished?
Never.
Then it's not for me. It's not for me. That needs to come out in the first 10 minutes.
And they're all British, so they're not nasty or snarky or try to kill each other or sabotage each other's food. So
British people aren't snarky?
Not on this show.
Okay. I'm like, not the ones I know. Okay, favorite fictional character.
That's tough, actually, because I have so many. It's a toss-up between Carrie and Wonder Woman, which I know sounds a little strange because it's Carrie, Stephen King's Carrie. But then there's Wonder Woman. So one of those.
That is a really odd mix, and I think we're going to need a different type of doctor to look into that.
Maybe. Hopefully my medical insurance will cover it. I'm not quite sure.
Okay, let's see. Well, Gal Gadot made a real name for herself as Wonder Woman this year. What beauty pageant did she win?
She won Miss Israel Miss Israel in the USA system, which is in the universe system.
Yeah, universe. Correct.
Did
Very good. Very good.
Multiple choice works so much better for me.
Okay. Well, I still soundly won, and I'm very proud of myself. Yay. Okay. So let's go back.
Congratulations.
Well,
do you
thank
need
you.
a tiara to go with that win?
You know what? I'm gonna Photoshop something in later. Yeah. How heavy is that one? Bring that crown
it's actually not bad. It's fairly light.
It does look like you have to clip that one into place. Is that right?
There's an awesome teen North Carolina International, Miss Caroline, hello, and her fabulous mother, Anna, who helped me out with this because I'm more of a pageant novice. So who knew you could put elastic in here and then put your bobby pins in there and stick it on your head. I tell you, when you're not born in a pageant family, it's these kinds of tips that make the difference between wearing a pageant crown and having it on the ground.
And picking it up continually throughout, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we're going back to the chat room, and our soul chatter. We have a very, very, very shy group with us tonight. So, do you hope that your daughter will follow you in her mother's career choice and or pageant efforts?
Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. To my fabulous in-laws in Texas, you guys are awesome. I would say that I want her, like me, to follow a career that she's passionate about and that she can make a difference in. I certainly didn't go into medicine in general or forensic pathology for the glitz and glamour and high income, because none of those actually come with medicine and forensic pathology. But I really want her to be passionate about something and to make a difference. And right now, she's very interested in sculpture because that's what her fabulous father does, my amazing husband right over here, Dunham. So I would be delighted as long as she does something that she feels good about and can change the world a little bit to make it a better place.
That is wonderful. I don't know how we're going to top that. So let's take a quick look for folks that are interested in the international pageant. Let's switch things around. There is the Mrs. International website, mrsinternational.com, and she's got a visual aid. Let's let her put that up there.
I have visual aid.
Yeah, that's nice that you came prepared.
This will tell you, it has a lot of information about our pageant here in North Carolina. We have 3 separate divisions. We have a teen, a miss, and a missus. And it's a great opportunity to share a platform you may be passionate about, make fabulous friends, and to celebrate the accomplishments of women. And then not only can you have this fantastic network, if you end up winning the Mrs. North Carolina crown, you do go to Mrs. International, which is a fabulous experience in and of itself. So I hope you'll join us on April 7th, 2018 in Winterville, North Carolina for our North Carolina pageant. And check out the website.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is how lame I am. Are you ready for this? I'm looking at the website and I'm like, August 11th and 12th. I wonder if that's this year's or next year's. Did they put next year's out already? And it says 2017 in about 500 font right below it. And I'm like, I wonder if that's next year's dates. So sad. But they do have a great website.
All that talk about Freddy Krueger, it messed up with your mind.
It did. I want to take one of those claws right there. But there.
Oh, not a good idea.
Yeah. There's a lot of information out on this website, including all the contestants. There's photos, all sorts of great stuff. That's mrsinternational.com. Okay, now one of the things I usually like to ask at the ends of these interviews is, was there a moment this year of service that you had where you're like, this all came together for me? What was the moment where it all kind of felt like this is the right place for me to be?
I think it was when I was at First, let me start out by saying there are innumerable moments working with the American Heart Association, being involved with the Heart Ball, multiple heart walks, and the Go Red for Women luncheon. But the Go Red for Women luncheon is really where my heart is, because it celebrates women and our fight against heart disease. So being able to speak at the Sandhills Go Red for Women luncheon and be the primary speaker, sharing my personal story about being a survivor of heart disease and ignoring the symptoms, for me was the time and the moment, because that's what this is all about for me. As a physician and a forensic pathologist, by the time my patients get to me, it's too late. But having that room filled with people where I could talk about heart disease in a perspective, the resources and the symptomatology, and hopefully lead to prevention was pretty amazing for me. And I really appreciated the opportunity to be a part of that.
Okay, and what type of appearances did you get to do this year that really meant a lot to you?
A lot of it was with the American Heart Association. As I mentioned before, I was also involved with the Go Red for Women luncheon in the Triangle, which is the biomedical research center here in Raleigh. I was also able to do another heart fundraiser for a North Carolina memory of someone who has passed away. So being a part of being the MC there and modeling was important to me. And also working with the National Alliance on Mental Illness, because I have a sister who has bipolar disorder and mental illness, was a great way for me to reach out to the community, because they have such a wonderful support group for not only people who live with mental illness, but their families like me. So it was wonderful to be a part of that and be an MC at the Wake County's Got Talent, and to introduce some very talented individuals who are also involved with the National Alliance on Mental Illness.
Okay, Michelle, I'd like you to look down right now. Look at the desk in front of you. Are there any of those little sheets of paper we haven't brought up yet?
Let me see
Did
here.
we miss any?
No.
I want to make sure we get them all.
Through every
Look at that. What is that, a phone book you have down there? You're just paging through?
I pretty much have everything you could ever hope for down here. But if you're looking for the American Heart Association, here is the website, heart.org.
Okay.
Yes, I'm trying to work with the camera here.
There
Not
you
very
go.
good at it.
Ooh, ah.
Number one killer of men and women. So if you want more information, please check it out, because the life that you save could be your own. So please check it out. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and to talk with all of you. And I hope to see you all at the North Carolina International Pageant.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. And I'm going to ask one more time, let's see that best pageant wave.
Oh, you love it, don't you?
I do.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. And then, you know, the other thing is, you being a doctor, you could go for the power pill.
Yes,
power
that's
pill.
right.
Yeah, and everything will turn blue. I wonder what that was really telling us. I just don't know. I think there was a undercurrent to the whole game. Okay, thank you so very much. Everybody, thanks for coming out in the chat room. There were a lot of people that weren't chatting, but we know they were there, and we appreciate all of you coming on out.
I know who you are. And thank you for not asking me those complicated questions. Let me tell you, at the office today, they were coming up with some doozies.
Oh, boy. Well, thank you so much, and we wish you all the best and luck and success, and hope you have a continued great reign as Mrs. North Carolina International. Good night, everybody, and Tiara Dreams.
Tiara Dreams, and PageantCast is the best. Thank you, Tim, for everything.
All right. PageantCast.
Yay!
That's it.
Survived.
That's it, everybody. Good night, and we wish you all the very best.